Welcome everyone. In this lecture, I am going to discuss about some numerical problems regarding the first law of thermodynamics. So, the particular topic is from the textbook Thermal Physics with Kinetic Theory, Thermodynamics and Statistical Mechanics by S.C. Garg, C.K. Ghosh and R.M. Bansal. So, at first I will introduce with the necessary formulas, and simultaneously I will also focus on the particular problems related to that formula. So, let me start. So, this is the first law, that is du is equal to delta q minus delta w plus mu into dn. This is the mathematical form of the first law. Sometimes in its differential form it is written as du is equal to delta q minus delta w. So, this is the formula, and we will use this formula during the solving of the numerical problems. So, let us start with a problem. So that the work done by a system during a thermodynamic process depends on the path followed. So, before we proceed to this problem, I will tell that in this particular chapter some problems are derivation type of problems and some problems are numerical type of problems. So, mostly I will focus on the numerical problems, but a little bit of discussion will be held regarding the derivation type of problem. So, this particular problem is a derivation type of problem where you have to show that the work done by a system during a thermodynamic process depends on the path followed. So, you have to start from this basic equation W is equal to 1 to 2 P into dV. This is the equation of the work. You see the formula very carefully because this particular formula will be used in different numerical problems. So, finally, we are obtaining a result, that is work done by an ideal gas in an isothermal expansion is given by W is equal to nRT Vi to Vf dV by V is equal to nRT ln Vf by Vi. So, this formula we will use in several numerical problems. You see the limit of the integration Vi to Vf, where Vi is the initial volume and Vf is the final volume. This particular equation of the work done can also be expressed in terms of pressure. So, we can also show that is W is equal to nRT ln P1 by P2 instead of Vf by Vi or V2 by V1. We can also write P1 by P2 because P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. Now, let us start with another problem. N moles of a perfect gas is made to undergo cyclic change ABCA consisting of the following processes: A to B, then B to C, then C to A. And this is a particular type of problem where the process is a cyclic one, and you can see that is in this particular book there are different types of problem where the process is cyclic, that is there are different types of cycles which are involved in this process, and these particular parts of the cycle may be of different type. For example, in this particular process A to B, when the system is going from the state A to state B, so that is isothermal expansion at the temperature T, and volume is doubled from V1 to V2, where V2 is equal to 2 into V1. As volume is doubled, that is we are saying final volume V2. Final volume means at the stage B, because the process is going from A to B. So, at the stage B the volume becomes double of the initial volume, and pressure changes from P1 to P2. So this is isothermal expansion. You have to note carefully that is what type of process this is, and the state B2C, isobaric compression at pressure P2 to initial volume V1. So you observe the stage BC. Here what is happening, that is volume is changing, however the pressure is constant at P2. So at this particular point V2 is 2 V1, and at this particular point C, and the volume becomes V1. So there is the change of volume. And lastly, when the gas is going from C to A, so here you see that volume is constant at V1, but pressure is changing from P2 to P1. So the different types of processes are involved in this particular cycle. So what we have to do? We have to find the expression for the work done and change in internal energy for each part, and by how much will the internal energy change for the complete cycle. So please listen carefully this problem, because there are also other types of problem where you will observe, that is there are different stages in a particular cyclic process. So each stage may be of different types, and you have to calculate the total work done in such types of processes. So when the state is changing from A to B, that is this particular state, so this state is isothermal. So this state is isothermal, and we have already calculated, that is how much work will be done in a isothermal process. So this is WAB. WAB is equal to nRT ln Vf by Vi. That was the formula that we have just discussed. So nRT ln Vf by Vi. So ultimately it will give you WAB is equal to nRT ln 2. Since the change takes place at constant temperature, here temperature is constant because it is isothermal expansion. As it is isothermal expansion, so the temperature is constant. So that is why there will be no change in internal energy in this part of the cycle. So why there will be no change in internal energy? As the temperature is constant in this process. That is the reason. In compressing the gas at constant pressure from B to C, so when this particular stage is going on, that is when the state is moving from B to C, this particular state, the work is done on the gas because it is compression. As it is compression, so work is done on the gas and is given by W is equal to P2. Why P2? Because you see that BC, in this straight line BC, for this particular state pressure is fixed, it is P2. That is why we have used P2. Then the change in volume. So what is the change in volume? You see at the point C the volume is V1, and at the point B the volume is 2 V1. So ultimately WBC, the formula of W is equal to P into dV. dV means change in volume. So P is P2 pressure, and dV means final volume minus initial volume. So final volume is V1 and initial volume is 2 V1. So V1 minus 2 V1, that is minus P2 into V1. So why this negative sign? Because this is compression, so work is done on the gas, that is why the negative sign. From the ideal gas equation, we can write at the point B, that is P2 V2, because you see that pressure is P2, and at point B and the volume is V2. V2 means actually 2 V1. So P2 V2, that means 2 P2 into V1, P2 into 2 V1 or 2 P2 into V1. Now from the ideal gas equation, what we know, that is PV is equal to nRT. That means multiplication of pressure with volume, that will give us nRT. So from this particular equation, as 2 P2 into V1 is equal to nRT, so we can write P2 V1, P2 into V1 is equal to nRT by 2. So from this equation we can write this one. Now this shows that the temperature at C drops to half of the initial value, because you see the equation becomes P2 into V1, because at the point C pressure is P2 but volume is V1. So we can write the ideal gas equation as P2 into V1, but multiplication of P2 into V1, that is actually nRT by 2. So we are writing nRT by 2 from this particular equation. So at the point C, multiplication of P into V gives us nRT by 2. So as it is T by 2, that is why we are saying that is at the point C the temperature drops to half of the initial value. Hence we can express the work done on the gas in going from B to C. So what is the work done? Work done W will be minus P2 into V1 that is equal to minus nRT by 2. So this is WBC, this is the expression of the WBC, that is minus P2 into V1. WBC is equal to minus P2 into V1, that we have written from this equation, but minus P2 into V1 means minus nRT by 2. So this is the work done, but here you see that is there is a mistake, it has been written AB, actually it is BC, WBC, there is a printing mistake over here. Now the change in internal energy is given by the first law of thermodynamics, we know that from the first law. So delta U is equal to Q minus W. Q means heat and W means work. So what is Q when we are considering the state BC? So the formula of Q, that is heat, that is equal to N into Cp into delta T. What is N? N is the mole number and Cp is the specific heat and delta T is the change in temperature. So the formula of heat Q, that is equal to N into Cp. Now what is the change in temperature delta T for the process B to C? We have just told that in this case what happens, temperature drops to half of the initial value. So at the point C the temperature is T by 2 and at the point B temperature is T. So ultimately QBC is equal to minus N into Cp into T by 2 and delta U, and that is equal to minus NCp into T by 2 minus NR into T by 2. So why it is so? Because you see it is from this equation, because delta U is equal to QBC. So we have written the value of the QBC. Next that is WBC. But what is WBC? WBC we have already estimated, that is this one minus nRT by 2, that we have written here. But during the simplification what we have done, that is you see that is this one is Cp, that is specific heat at constant pressure, but there is a relation between Cp and Cv, and that is Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So we have used that relation, that is we have converted Cp to Cv. How we have converted? Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So from that equation we have converted Cp to Cv, then finally we are getting minus NCv into T by 2. This is delta U. Now when the state is going from C to A, that is this particular state, when it is going from C to A, here you see that is volume is fixed, there is no change of volume. If there is no change of volume, then what will happen? No work will be done, because there is no change of volume. So no work will be done, that is W for the process CA will be 0. So for the process CA, again we apply the first law, that is delta U is equal to QCA minus WCA, but WCA is equal to 0. So what is QCA? That is heat. And now again we are using the formula of Q, that is for heat. So we are using in this way the formula, that is N into Cv into T minus T by 2. Final temperature is T, and at the point C the temperature is T by 2. So delta U Ca is equal to N into Cv into T by 2. So you just take a note that is for QBC, and that was minus N into Cp into T by 2, and here it is N into Cv into T by 2. Why it is Cp and Cv? So because the processes are different, that is why you see that here we are using Cv. Why we are using Cv? Because in this particular state, that is when the process is moving from C to A, here volume is constant. So we are using specific heat at constant volume. But when we used the expression of Q in this particular process, so that in that particular process pressure was fixed. That is why we have written Cp, Q is equal to N into Cp into delta T. Now in this way we have calculated the change in internal energy delta U. So what will be the total change in internal energy? So that will be the sum of all the process. So in the first state it was 0, and these are the values of the next two states. So ultimately we are getting delta U is equal to 0. So for this particular cyclic process, internal energy is change in internal energy is 0. Now let us discuss another problem. The temperature of 5 gram of air is raised by 1 degree centigrade at constant volume. So you just take a note of this fact, that is it is constant volume. Calculate the increase in its internal energy. So we have to calculate the increase in internal energy, where the value of Cv and J is given. Now here we will use the first law, du is equal to delta Q minus delta W. For delta W we can write P into dV. Now you see that since the air is heated at constant volume, so as the volume is constant, so dV is equal to 0, that is there is no change of volume. So this particular second factor is 0. So du will be delta Q. Delta Q means that is the heat. So delta Q, how to calculate delta Q? So in this particular expression of delta Q, we will write that is delta Q is equal to m into Cv into change in temperature. But there may be some confusion, because you see in the previous example for Q, you see this is also heat. So in this case how we have expressed Q, that is N into Cp into delta T. What is N? N is a mole number. Now actually there are two different expression of Q, one involving the mole number N and another involving the mass. So this particular expression will be used when you will use the unit of Cp in mole unit. But if you use the unit of Cp in mass unit, then the formula will be like this, that is delta Q is equal to mass into specific heat into change in temperature. But in this particular unit of the specific heat, that will be expressed in terms of the mass. For example, you check the unit, this is calorie per gram. So per gram is there, that is per mass is there. But if it is calorie per mole, then you have to use the equation which involves the mole number. So you have to take a note what is the unit of the specific heat. So as it is given in mass unit, so you can use the formula, that is delta Q is equal to mass into specific heat into change in temperature. Now you see that is mass is given, that is 5 gram, and this is Cv, and the specific heat is also given, and this is change in temperature. Change in temperature is 1 degree centigrade. So ultimately energy that will be in calorie unit, because you see from this particular formula it is easy to understand that ultimately dV will be calorie unit, but you can convert it to the joule. If you want to convert calorie to joule, then you have to multiply 4.18 with the calorie. So this is the internal energy in joule unit. Another problem, 1 kg of water is boiled under 2 atmosphere at 120 degree centigrade. If the volumes occupied by water and steam under given conditions are 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube, and 0.825 meter cube respectively. Calculate the work done and increase in internal energy. Latent heat is given, and 1 atmosphere is equal to 1.013 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per meter square. So, what is happening here, that is water is boiled. So, when water is boiled, then what will happen, that is some part of the water will be converted into the steam. So, the volume of water and volume of steam is also given. So, volume of the steam is given, that means from the volume of the steam, what we can say that this particular part of the water has been converted into the steam. That means, this is actually the change in volume. So, volume of the steam is actually the change in volume. There was some water at first, as we are boiling it. So, some part of the water that is converted into the steam. As some part of the water is being converted to the steam, so that particular part of the water, that is actually the steam, that is the change in volume. So, here the volume of the water, that particular data is not so important, but this particular data, that is the volume of the steam, is very important here when you will calculate the work done, because we know the formula of the work done, delta W is equal to P into dV. dV means change in volume. Now, what is the pressure? Pressure is 2 atmosphere. When the water was being boiled, then the pressure was 2 atmosphere. So, we can write 2 atmosphere, but we will convert atmosphere to the Newton per meter square. So, 2 into 1.013 into 10 to the power 5, that is the pressure, and dV is the volume of the steam. So, in this way we can calculate the work done. The next is the increase in internal energy. So, how to calculate? Because we know the formula of the first law, du is equal to delta q minus delta w. This is the first law. Now, this particular part, that is work, we have already calculated it. What is delta w? This one. Now, delta q. So, how to calculate delta q? Now, as the water is being boiled, so the formula of the delta q will be a little bit of different, because as the water is being boiled, so at that time you have to use the formula ml, because you see that is this particular formula we have already used in our higher secondary classes. So, when it is when the water is being boiled, then delta q will be ml. But you see that is in the previous problem, when the air was heated. So, at that time delta q was mass of the air into Cv into change in temperature. So, these two cases are different. As the water is being boiled, so we will use this particular expression of the heat, that is ml. Now, what is m into L? Here L is given here, that is the latent heat, and mass is 1 kg. 1 kg. So, 1 into L, that is 2.20 into 10 to the power 6. Here we are using the SI units. So, ml is this one, delta W we have already calculated. So, ultimately we are getting that the value of the change in internal energy is this one, that is 2.03 into 10 to the power 6 joule. But here there is a point to note. You see that what is the value of the latent heat? This is 2.20 into 10 to the power 6 joule per kg. So, 2.20 into 10 to the power 6 joule per kg, and that was the latent heat, and change in internal energy is 2.03 into 10 to the power 6. So, if we consider this is the heat supplied per kg, then most of the part of this heat is being converted in increasing the internal energy. You see 2.03 into 10 to the power 6 divided by 2.20 into 10 to the power 6 will give you 92%. So, 92% of the latent heat is used up increasing the internal energy. This is the main conclusion of this problem. Now, there is some application of the first law, but here I can say that is this derivation, that is Cp minus Cv is equal to this equation. This derivation is very important. So, I will request the students to follow these steps so that you can derive the relation involving Cp and Cv as this one, that is Cp minus Cv is equal to this one. This relation is very important. And another relation is there, that is Mayer's formula, Cp minus Cv is equal to n into R. So, what you have to check, that is derivation of this particular formula, and you have to also note down this particular formula, Cp minus Cv is equal to n into R. And if you use this result, that is Cv is equal to du by dt or du is equal to Cv dt, then the first law will become delta q is equal to Cv dt plus P dv. So, instead of du, in first law there is delta q is equal to du plus dw. For dw we are using P dv, and for du we are using Cv dt. So, this is the modified form of the first law, delta q is equal to Cv dt plus P dv. This particular modified form of the first law, we will use this formula in later chapters. Sometimes this particular formula can also be used, and this involves Cp. You see that in the previous formula this was Cv, but in this particular formula this one is Cp. And this is the Cp minus Cv relation in van der Waals gas. This particular derivation is also important. This derivation also comes in the examination. Now, there is another problem. 1 mole of a gas assumed to be perfect at 0 degree centigrade is heated at constant pressure till its volume is twice its initial volume. Calculate the amount of heat absorbed. Here Cv is given and capital R is given, but you see, you carefully note down the unit of Cv, and this is in mole unit. Now, since the gas is heated at constant pressure, you see in the problem it has been written that at constant pressure, and how much mole? 1 mole of a gas. So, the gas is being heated at constant pressure. So, from Charles' law we can say that is V1 by V2 is equal to T1 by T2. Now, you see that is volume becomes twice. So, volume becomes twice. So, we can say that is V2 by V1 is equal to 2, and T1 is equal to 273 Kelvin, because the gas at first was at 0 degree centigrade, means T1 was 273 Kelvin. So, final temperature T2 is 546 Kelvin. So, if the final temperature is 546 Kelvin, then the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of n moles of gas by 273 Kelvin, because final temperature is 546 Kelvin, initial temperature was 273 Kelvin. So, change in temperature is 546 minus 273, that is equal to 273. So, the amount of heat required to raise the temperature of n moles of gas by 273 Kelvin is equal to delta Q is equal to n into Cp into delta T. Now, why we are using this formula? Because I have already told, that is you have to check very carefully, that is what is the unit of Cv. This is in mole unit. This is in mole unit. So, you have to use such type of formula, that is which involves mole number. So, we can write that is delta Q is equal to n into Cp into delta T, but Cp I can write in terms of Cv plus R, because Cp minus Cv is equal to R. So, Cp is equal to Cv plus R. And another point is that as the gas is being heated at constant pressure, it has been mentioned in the problem, it is being heated at constant pressure. That is why here for the specific heat we have used Cp. Why Cp? Because the gas is being heated at constant pressure. So, n Cp delta T. So, Cp is equal to Cv plus R, but all the values we know, that is here n is 1, because 1 mole of a gas it has been mentioned, and the value of Cv, the value of R, the value of delta T we all know, and everything is in SI unit. So, the delta Q will be in joule unit. Now, there are some more formula. When we will speak about the adiabatic process, then there are some relations. The relations are either between temperature and volume, or between the pressure and volume, or the pressure and temperature. Three relations are there, and this particular relation T V to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant, and this relation is known as T V relation. And the relation between P and V, P V to the power gamma is equal to constant, this relation is known as P V relation. And the relation between temperature and pressure, this particular relation is known as T P relation. Three relations are there, and using these three relations there are several numerical problems. And another point to note, that is the ratio of pressure and volume del P by del V, that is equal to minus gamma into P by V for an adiabatic process. But for an isothermal process where P V is equal to R T, this particular value, that is del P by del V, that is equal to minus P by V. So, if you plot a diagram between pressure and volume, so you see that for isothermal gases, so slope of the curve del P by del V, that is equal to minus P by V, whereas for isothermal process del P by del V is equal to minus gamma into P by V. So, this particular slope has been increased gamma times. If you compare adiabatic and isothermal process, so you see this particular value of the slope for adiabatic is higher gamma times. So, gamma is multiplied here. So, if you plot a isothermal adiabat in a single graph, so the adiabat will be steeper, and adiabat is steeper than an isotherm, because gamma is equal to 1. So, sometimes this problem also set in the examination, that is the problem is like this, that you have to justify, that is adiabat is steeper than isotherm. So, justification is by this mathematical relations. You have to write down this mathematical relation, then this particular graph, and you have to justify in this way. Now, there is another important problem. This problem is very important. The nozzle of a bicycle is blocked. So, sometimes you pump the tire of a bicycle. So, you are using a pump and the nozzle is blocked. Suppose the nozzle is blocked. With no force on the handle, the pump contains a volume V of air at 300 Kelvin and atmospheric pressure. So, suppose you are providing no force to the handle, this is in somewhat in equilibrium condition, and at that time there is V volume of air inside the pump, and the temperature was 300 Kelvin and the pressure was the atmospheric pressure. Now, what you are doing, and the handle is pushed down with a constant force of magnitude F, reducing the volume to half. So, now you are applying a pressure, you are pushing the handle, so that the volume becomes half of the initial volume. So, there are some volume of the air inside the pump, you are compressing that, so that the volume becomes half. No air escapes from the pump. Why there is no escape? Because the nozzle is blocked. In the beginning of the problem, we have already told that the nozzle is blocked. So, no air escapes from the pump. Assume the change to be adiabatic. Now, we are assuming, that is this particular change of the state which is happening inside the pump, that is adiabatic, and we are taking gamma of the air as 1.4. So, what we have to do? We have to calculate the final temperature of the air inside the pump. So, that is our task, that is we are compressing the volume inside the pump. So, due to the compression, what will happen? There will be change in the temperature. The initial temperature is 300 Kelvin, the process is adiabatic. So, from those given data and given concept, we will calculate the final temperature. Now, as in the problem it has been mentioned that is the process is adiabatic. So, what we will use? You will use the PV relation. We have already introduced you with the PV relation. So, PV to the power gamma is equal to constant. This is the PV relation. So, when the change of state occurs, we can write that is Pi V to the power gamma is equal to Pf into V by 2 to the power gamma, because P V to the power gamma is equal to constant. Pi is the initial pressure, Pf is the final pressure, V is the initial volume, and final volume is V by 2 as it is half. So, final volume is V by 2. Now, Pf is the final pressure. So, upon simplification, we can write that is Pf is equal to Pi into 2 to the power gamma. Now, value of the gamma is 1.4. So, ultimately, we are getting Pf is equal to 2.64 Pi. Now, it has been mentioned that at the initial condition, the pressure was atmospheric pressure. The pressure was atmospheric pressure. Now, there is a perfect gas equation of state. So, from the perfect gas equation of state, so that equation is actually Pi Vi by Ti is equal to Pf Vf by Tf. That is the perfect gas equation of state. We are using the perfect gas equation of state, that is Pi initial pressure, initial volume, initial temperature is equal to final pressure, final volume, and this one is the final temperature. So, Tf is equal to Pf by 2 Pi into Ti. Now, Pf and Pi, and the relation between Pf and Pi, it has been established. Pf is equal to 2.64 Pi. So, ultimately we are getting that is Tf is equal to 396 Kelvin. So, initial temperature was 300 Kelvin and final temperature is 396 Kelvin. Now, you see that is what is 396 Kelvin? 396 Kelvin, this particular temperature is higher than the boiling point of water, because the what is the boiling point of water? 373 Kelvin. 373 Kelvin is the boiling point of water. So, this particular value is 396 Kelvin. So, this temperature is very high. So, you are advised not to touch the nozzle of a blocking pump. So, where there is some nozzle, so at that point what will happen? The temperature will be highly increased. So, we are advised that is, we should not touch that. Physically, this means that adiabatic compression produces heating. So, what is the conclusion of this problem? That is, adiabatic compression produces heating. This is very important problem. An ideal gas is allowed to undergo adiabatic expansion so that its temperature drops from 320 Kelvin to 286 Kelvin, and the pressure changes from 1.4 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal to 1 into 10 to the power 5 Pascal, determine its atomicity. Now, you see that this problem is about adiabatic expansion. The previous problem was adiabatic compression, but this particular problem is adiabatic expansion. And here, as it is expansion, so temperature is dropped. In the previous problem, temperature increased, but here temperature drops from 320 Kelvin to 286 Kelvin, and this is the change of the pressure. So, two different types of data are given involving temperature and pressure. So, we will use the TP relation, that is temperature pressure relation, for adiabatic process. So, this particular relation is T to the power gamma into P to the power 1 minus gamma is equal to constant. So, Ti to the power gamma, Pi to the power 1 minus gamma is equal to Tf to the power gamma, Pf to the power 1 minus gamma. So, Pi by Pf to the power this one is equal to Tf by Ti. Now, you see in the problems, the values of initial and final pressure and initial and final temperatures are given. So, only thing that is left is gamma. So, we can calculate gamma from this particular relation, and the value of the gamma, it comes out to be 1.5. Now, we know that for a diatomic gas, the value of the gamma is 1.4. But for a monoatomic gas, the value of the gamma is 1.67. You have to remind this relation, that is for diatomic gas gamma is equal to 1.4 and for monoatomic gas gamma is equal to 1.67. Now this value is close to the diatomic gas. So we will conclude that the gas is diatomic. You see that this particular problem asking, that is you just find the equation 5.19a, that is basically TV relation. So the problem is that find the equivalent TV relation for a van der Waals gas. This is the problem. This is a derivation type of problem. That is why you are not discussing it in details, but ultimately the result is that T into V minus B to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. You see that for ideal gas this is T into V to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant, but if we consider the van der Waals gas, then this particular TV relation will be replaced by T into V minus B to the power gamma minus 1 is equal to constant. Next problem. This problem is also a derivation type of problem, but this problem is very important because the formula derived in this problem, and that is very useful in solving the numerical problems. So what is the problem? That is 1 mole of a perfect gas undergoes adiabatic change and its volume changes from V1 to V2 and pressure from P1 to P2. This, there is a printing mistake actually, and this should be P2. So that the work done by it is given by W adiabatic is equal to P2 V2 minus P1 V1 by 1 minus gamma. Basically we will use this formula in solving the numerical problems, but you have to practice this derivation, because this derivation also comes in the examination. So you see that this is not a longer derivation, but what we can show, that is W adiabatic is equal to 1 by 1 minus gamma P2 V2 minus P1 V1. But sometimes this particular formula can also be written in terms of temperature also. So how to write that? Because you know that is PV is equal to nRT. So P2 V2 will be ANR into T2 and P1 V1 will be ANR into T1. So in this way, that is if you express P2 V2 in terms of temperature, then this formula will be a little bit changed, but you can write P2 V2 as nRT2 and P1 V1 you can write as nRT1. So this is the formula. Now another problem, which is also a series of processes. Let us go through the problem. 1 mole of an ideal gas is defined by P1, T1 is allowed to expand reversibly and isothermally till its pressure is reduced to 1/2 of the original pressure. So in the first process you see that is we are expanding and the gas is allowed to expand, and it is a isothermal process, reversible isothermal process, and pressure is reduced in this process to 1/2 of its original pressure. This is followed by a constant volume cooling till its pressure is reduced to 1/4 of its initial value. So the next process, you focus on the next process, that in the next process the volume becomes constant. This is followed by a constant volume cooling, and in this case the pressure is reduced to 1/4 of the initial value. Then it is restored to its initial state by a reversible adiabatic compression. Finally we are compressing the gas and the process is a adiabatic one. So we have to calculate the network and we have to show the network is this one. This is the network. So we can draw the diagram in this way. You see that is this is the first step AB, then BC, then CA. 3 processes are there, and step by step we are describing these processes. So at first we focus on the process AB, and this is an isothermal expansion. So isothermal AB, the process is isothermal expansion, and here we are considering that the temperature is T1 as it is isothermal one, so temperature is constant. Now for isothermal process we know that is what is the expression for the work. It is actually nRT ln Vf by Vi or Pi by Pf. So here as pressure reduces to 1/2, as pressure is 1/2 of the original volume, that is why the expression of the work in terms of pressure as we are using it. So nRT, n is 1 mole here, so nRT ln, here it is Pi by Pf, that is why it is RT, nRT, but n is 1 mole here, 1 mole of a gas, so RT ln 2. So this is the expression of work in the first step. Note that Boyle's law implies that volume of the gas will be doubled, because P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So pressure is inverse to the volume through the Boyle's law. So as in this particular case, you see that is pressure is 1/2 of the initial value. So volume will be doubled in that case. So volume will be doubled in this case since the pressure is halved. Now come to the next process, that is BC. In the process BC, the volume is constant. You see there is no change of the volume. It is known as isochoric process and there is no change of volume. That is why no work will be done, because W is equal to P into dV. As dV 0, volume change is 0. So no work will be done by the gas, but its temperature will drop. In this case the temperature will be dropped, but W is equal to 0 in this process. Now the last one, that is when the gas is going from the point C to A. So in that particular process, the process is adiabatic process and the gas is being compressed. So gas is compressed, but the process is an adiabatic one. So what will be the work done? So we can use the work done for adiabatic process by the above formula that we have derived earlier, that is this formula 1 by 1 minus gamma P2 V2 minus P1 V1. So we can use this particular formula. So we have used that 1 by 1 minus gamma and then P1 V1 minus P1 by 4 into 2 V1. So this is the final pressure, because it has been said in the problem that is pressure will be 1 by 4th of its initial value. So P1 by 4 and volume will be doubled, so 2 into V1. So ultimately we are having this value P1 V1 by 2 into 1 minus gamma, that means minus RT by 2 into gamma minus 1. This is 1 minus gamma, but this is gamma minus 1. So if we combine the results, that is we have calculated the work done in 3 different processes. So we have to just add the value of the work done. So ultimately we will get this expression. Next problem, 1 mole of air at STP is first compressed isothermally and reversibly to 1/2 of the original volume. So there was some air. How much air? 1 mole of air, which was at STP. So what you are doing? You are compressing that. So you are compressing that isothermally. You are compressing that isothermally and reversibly to 1/2 of the original volume. 1/2 of the original volume. The volume is half of the previous volume, and then expanding adiabatically and reversibly to its original pressure. Then again what you are doing, you are expanding it, but in this case you see that the pressure is adiabatic one. When at first when you compressed, then the process was isothermal, but now when you are expanding, now this process is adiabatic. So you are expanding adiabatically and reversibly to its original pressure. So what we have to do? We have to calculate the net work done by the gas, the net heat flowing into the gas, change in internal energy, final temperature. Several parameters we have to calculate. So at first we are considering the isothermal expansions. So during isothermal expansion, we know that is what is the expression of the work. It is nRT log V2 by V1, but N is 1 mole, it has been mentioned, and V2 by V1. So at volume is halved. So V2 by V1 is equal to half. So you just use the expression of R and T, then log half. So ultimately this is the value of the work. Because this is log half, that is why the negative sign appears here, and as it is compression, so work is done on the gas, so that is why there is negative sign. And in the next case, there is expansion, adiabatic expansion, and in that case what is happening, there is a change of pressure. So what we are using, that is TP relation. We are using TP relation because pressure is involved, and we can calculate the final temperature. Because that is a task. We have to calculate the final temperature, and previously the gas was at STP. So here, that is T2 is equal to T1 is equal to 273 Kelvin. Why we have written that? T1 is actually the initial temperature. Now what you have done, you have compressed the gas isothermally. Isothermally means, that is, although you are compressing, but there is no change of temperature. So this particular state, that is T1 to T2, both temperature is same, and it is 273 Kelvin, as initially the gas was STP. So T1 is equal to T2 is equal to 273 Kelvin. In the next step, what is happening, that is you are using adiabatic process. So during adiabatic process, temperature will be changed. So T3 will be different. You see that in this equation, you are writing in this way, that is P2 by gamma minus 1 by T2 to the power gamma is equal to P3 to the power gamma minus 1 by T3 to the power gamma. Because P1 and T1, that is indicating the initial states. So T2 is equal to 273 Kelvin. We have to calculate the T3, and P2 is equal to 2 into P1. Why it is 2 into P1 pressure? Because you see that is, as volume is 1/2 of the original volume. Volume is 1/2 of the original volume. So pressure must be doubled. As per Boyle's law, pressure is inverse to the volume. So as volume is being halved, it is compressed, so pressure will be doubled. So P2 is equal to 2 into P1. And in the next state, that is when you are expanding the gas adiabatically and reversibly, to its original pressure. So finally the pressure becomes to a value which was its initial value. So P3 is equal to P1. So P2 will be 2 P1 and P3 will be P1, and gamma is equal to 1.4. So we are assuming the gamma, that is equal to 1.4, because we have to use the expression of gamma, and it is actually it is air. So for air, we approximately take the value of the gamma is equal to 1.4. Now you just put all the values. So after putting all the values, you are putting the values of P2 and P3 in terms of P1, and they will be cancelled. So ultimately you can find the expression of T3 from this particular equation. So finally T3 is 224 Kelvin. This is the final temperature. And if you want to calculate the work done during the adiabatic expansion, so you can use the formula which involves, that is temperature, because previously I said that what was the expression of the adiabatic work. You see, this is the expression of the adiabatic work, that is 1 by 1 minus gamma P2 V2 minus P1 V1 you can write P2 V2 is equal to N into R into T2. So, that if you use that particular expression of the adiabatic work, then we can write that here N is 1, value of the N is 1. So, R by gamma minus 1 into T1 minus T3. So, here T3 is 224 Kelvin and T1 equal to T2, that is 273 Kelvin, gamma is 1.4, R is given. So, you can calculate the adiabatic work here. So, this is the adiabatic work, and the net heat flowing into the system, that we can calculate. Since no heat is exchanged in a reversible adiabatic process, we know that in reversible adiabatic process no heat is exchanged. The net heat flowing into the gas will equal to the work done during an isothermal process, but we have already calculated the work done in an isothermal process. So, that is this one. So, what is the net heat flowing into the system? That was the work done in an isothermal process, that means this one. And the change in internal energy, since the change in internal energy of the system during a reversible isothermal process is 0. So, for a reversible isothermal process, the change in internal energy is 0. The change in internal energy is equal to the work done during the adiabatic expansion. So, this is the work done in adiabatic expansion. So, only in the case of adiabatic expansion, the work done, that is equal to the change in internal energy. And we have to remind, that is when you calculate the net work done, then you have to just sum the work done in adiabatic process and isothermal process. So, this one is the net work done. So, these are the different parts of the problem. Another problem is there, that is 1 mole of oxygen at STP is adiabatically compressed to 5 atmosphere. Calculate the new temperature, how much work is done on the gas, gamma is given and R is given. So, you see that you are compressing the gas, that is the first thing, and the second thing is that this particular process is adiabatic and the state was at STP. Now, as it is mentioned, that is the initial state is at STP, that means temperature is 0 degree centigrade or 273 Kelvin. Pressure was the atmospheric pressure, that is 1 atmosphere pressure, but final pressure is given, that is 5 atmosphere. This is the final pressure. Now, what you can use the TP relation here. So, you are using the TP relation, and using the TP relation you can calculate the final temperature, because in the right hand side you know all the values, because all the values are given in the problem. So, you can calculate the final temperature. So, this one is the final temperature, and you can also calculate the work, because this is the formula of work done involving the temperature values. The expression of the work done is capital R into T1 minus T2 by gamma minus 1. So, this is the value of the work done. So, then significance of the negative sign is that work is done on the gas, because you see this is the compression process, and during the compression process work is done on the gas, that is why there is a negative sign in the expression of the work. Another thing is there is a particular topic, adiabatic lapse rate. Adiabatic lapse rate means variation of temperature in the atmosphere with height above sea level, that is how temperature change with height. So, you just see the derivation, I am skipping the derivation, but you see this particular expression of the adiabatic lapses. T is temperature, H is height. So, dt by dh is equal to minus gamma minus 1 by gamma mg by R, and capital M is the molecular weight of the air. So, if you put the values in the right hand side, dt by dh is equal to this one, minus 9.78 into 10 to the power minus 3 Kelvin per meter. So, this particular right hand side shows that the temperature drops when height is increased. So, these are the problems regarding the first law, but what I can say, that is there are some other problem that I will discuss in the next lecture. This is the first part of the lecture. I will also request you to the listen the next part, and in the next part I will discuss some more problems. So I hope you have understood. You go through the text portion of this book very carefully before going through the numerical problems. So I again thank you all for listening my